Good morning. We are live. We are live. We are live. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, man. We got a good show for you today. Sorry that we're a little late. It's Monday, man. Let's kind of like the first pancake made on Sunday breakfast. It's always the throwaway. Well, we got Tuesday, so we can retry. Now it's Mondays. Like I was saying last night in the podcast. Monday's usually a little bit of a bigger day for me and my wife, getting our kids in order for the school week, everything like that. So we just got some shit that we got to get done. Calls for our attention a little bit more. But I hope that everybody is having a great Monday so far, because man, we got air in our lungs, we got the sky above us, we got the ground below us. We're good, baby. We're good. We're here. We're on time. We're in line because we make the time, man. We're on time today. The show is at 11. Y'all didn't see the notification thing. Today's show is at 11. We weren't going with the regular mold. But we got a pretty good show today. It's gonna be a lighter one. The morning show is gonna be a little bit lighter. We got a new video from MrBallen came out on Sunday, so we're gonna watch the new MrBallen video. It's a little, I think it's like 15-20 minutes. It's great. It's a great story though, man. It's a great story. Like the fact that this happened to this person, and I'm just like, whoa, broski, you like that happened to like a real, like that really happened to a person like that. Okay, bud. So it's a good story. It's a good story. I hope that y'all enjoy it. And then we'll just get into a quick daily news run, and that'll probably close out the show for today. And then, of course, tonight I will be back on at 9:30 p.m. with my lovely wife, Kimberly. She's great. And y'all are great too. Thank y'all so much for all the love, all the growth, all the views, all the likes, all the comments. I love it, guys. It's amazing. Y'all are some of the best community that we got. And whether you're watching live, whether you're watching once it is posted, let's give a little shout out to my friend Demon. Apparently his school caught on fire this morning. So, Demon, I'm glad you're okay, bud. But hey, no school for a while, I guess. That's dope. That's pretty dope. So, y'all know that I love MrBallen. His stories are dope. It's really cool. Like honestly, I get more excited for a new MrBallen video to get dropped and released than I do for like a new movie here lately. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm kind of just like over supporting Hollywood right now, and I'd rather support like creators that are, you know, doing it on their own dime and everything. I think that's pretty cool to sit there and try and support someone doing it on their own. And he's a really cool guy. He's a Navy SEAL. He was a Navy SEAL for a while. He's got a great story of what happened to him and what ultimately led to him not being a Navy SEAL anymore. I recommend that y'all go check out his channel, go give it a sub, like some videos. He's an American hero who deserves everything that he's gotten because he's a really cool guy. He's really funny. Y'all are gonna see in the video today. He's funny. He's cool. He's a great storyteller. And you also just go give him a follow. You know, it's the American way, helping Americans out and everything. New media. All right, so this is his channel, MrBallen. Got like a little skeleton giving a thumbs up for his little profile deal. So, yeah, that is the title of the video. hiker gets eaten alive and lives. It's nuts. So we're going to get into the video and let everybody have their little
commitment to you is delivering the
time with it and everything.
In order to appreciate.
Hold on, MrBallen. I'm trying to get this going, bud. Hold on 1 second. You're moving too fast for me. Moving way too fast. You're coming in hot. I don't like it. I don't like your tone. All right, so we'll go ahead and get in the video. I'm going to try my best to remain to myself, but this story is pretty fucked.
In order to appreciate today's story, I actually have to give something away right now, and that is the main character survives. The reason I have to tell you that is because during this story,
most people don't make it in his stories. Whenever he's telling the story, you know, yeah, they're going to die.
There's a really intense event that happens.
And they're true stories, too. That's what's, like, messed up, is they're all true stories. Most of them are from a book series called Missing 411. And if you ever read that book series, it's pretty cool. If you're into like mysteries and like weird stuff and like disappearances and aliens and stuff like that, check it out. It's a cool book series.
Happens, and I use really specific descriptions for how something looked, how something felt, how something smelled, and if you didn't know, I was pulling that from the survivor who lived to tell the tale, you might think I was just making it up, but I'm not. But before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week.
Big
fan,
buddy.
If that's of interest to you, the next time the like button asks you to pick up some cereal for them, say yes, and then go to the store and buy the big single biscuit shredded wheat cereal. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story.
I love the intro music. It's so good.
On July 19th, 2013, 49-year-old Matt Dyer climbed on board a tiny 19-seat Twin Otter airplane that was parked on the tarmac of the Montreal International Airport in Canada. Matt was about to take off on the first of 2 flights that would take him and 7 other adventurous people deep into one of the most remote and wild regions in North America. For Matt, this trip was going to be the most amazing journey of his life. He had seen the ad for this 2-week-long expedition about a year earlier when he was looking through a magazine put out by an environmental organization called the Sierra Club. Now, even though Matt was a lawyer, he didn't make much money. He lived in this tiny town in central Maine where he made...
Like, how the fuck are you going to be a lawyer and not make any money? Like, how do you, like, just not make money as a lawyer? That's like, yeah, I'm a doctor, but I've never saved anybody. What? I'm pretty sure that's in, like, the description whenever, like, kids go to college or career day and they're picking this shit out. Lawyer. Drive sick-ass cars, wear expensive suits, make a fuckload of money while screwing over everybody. You know? Like, how do you not make money? I mean, I guess there's, like, you know, like, civil lawyers, dudes that take on, like, small cases and stuff, but I always thought that was, like, the main goal of being a lawyer was to just get, like, stupid rich.
Made a living by offering either free or very low-cost legal assistance for some of the state's poorest
I'm not judging.
But Matt was an avid outdoorsman, and when he saw the opportunity to explore one of Canada's newest national parks that was so far north it was practically in the Arctic Circle, he decided the hefty $6,000 price tag was well worth it. 2.5 hours later, after flying over 900 miles due north away from the airport in Montreal, the Twin Otter airplane that Matt and the others were riding on touched down on a narrow gravel landing strip situated between this huge forest on a mountainside and a river on the other side. After climbing off the plane with all of their equipment, Matt and the 7 others hustled their way over to the stretch of flimsy plywood buildings that lined the runway. These buildings...
Okay. That's like sketch as fuck. First off, I'm giving like some anonymous person like $6,000. Like, if I give you $6,000, the building you take me to better at least have some fucking paint on the outside of it. Like doors that work. Can we get that? Can we get roll-up doors that work and don't look like I'm about to be in Hostel 3? Like that is, there is, oh my God, this is like one of those pictures that just gets worse the more you look at it. Okay, there's like a creepy, like orange-red thing back there. Don't know what that's doing. There's like a fucking random chair out here, some piping, busted windows. There's a, oh my God, there's a literal hole in the side of the fucking building. Bro, this is Canada. It's cold up there. Yeah, $6,000, and this is $6,000. You fly me out to the middle of nowhere, and then you're like, yeah, just come in this like inconspicuous, like big ass metal building. Fuck you.
And this entire area they were in was not a part of this
Fucking
new national park they were going
bitch.
to. This was like their staging area to prepare and get ready before catching another flight that would bring them into the park. And so Matt and the 7 other people he was with, which included the 2 trip leaders from the Sierra Club, they would stay at this temporary base camp for the next couple of days, going over their hiking routes and talking about emergency procedures and protocols. And then after those 2 days were up, the group felt like they were ready. And so the group packed up all their things and they boarded the tiny float plane out on the water that would take them to their final destination, this new Canadian national park, better known as the Torngat Mountains. 45 minutes later, the pilot of the float plane began to descend through the clouds to make their landing on a little water inlet. And as the pilot did that, Matt and the 7 others were able to look out the window and actually see the Torngat Mountains for the first time. Now, all of them had seen dozens and dozens of pictures of this area, but seeing it for the first time in person was still shocking. The area looks like an alien planet. The wilderness...
Dude, that really does, man. Like, you know, like people always ask, like, who would go there? Like, why would you, like, I would go there. I would go there in a second. I mean, not for like $6,000. And damn sure not if we're showing up in that crusty ass tetanus building. But yeah, like my own plane, I'd do it. Just like fly out there. I wonder if you could helicopter out there, or if it'd be too long. Like you wouldn't have enough. You wouldn't be able to carry enough fuel to like go there and back. I don't know, but I'd go. You know, if I had my own plane or whatever, fly out there with some friends and families, just chill there for the day. Then we're gone.
In and around the Torngats is not the same kind of wilderness we think of when we think about going hiking in the forest or going camping or something. No, the wilderness in the Torngats is primordial. It's like you're looking out at a place from the very beginning of time, like dinosaurs should be walking around this area. As far as Matt could see, in any direction were these huge, jagged mountains that had been carved out of the earth by glaciers hundreds of thousands of years ago. And those same glaciers had created hundreds of waterways between the mountains called fjords that almost looked like blue-veined fingers. And even from high up in the plane, Matt could look down, and the water of these fjords were so clear that he could see these speckled backs of brown trout swimming beneath the surface. But while this landscape was undoubtedly spectacularly beautiful and pristine and totally incredible, it was equal parts unwelcoming to people. There are no roads in the Torngots, there's no campsites, there's no facilities, there's no internet, there's no cell phone, and the weather is unbelievably harsh. It's freezing cold and wet most of the time, and then even when it's a little bit warm and a little bit nice
Sounds like
there,
Michigan.
the weather can change in an instant and become freezing cold and wet all over again. And so, as such, the handful of visitors that go into this area every year are expected to be 100% self-reliant, because this really is one of the most dangerous wild regions in the world. But for Matt, as he looked out his window and surveyed this landscape, he wasn't second-guessing his decision to go into this hostile environment. No. I mean, the reason he was willing to fork over all that money to go on this trip is because he really wanted to experience extreme wilderness firsthand. And so finally, the pilot of the float plane came into land on this little water inlet, and then the pilot ferried the craft over to this beach, and then Matt and the 7 others piled off onto land with all of their things, and then as the pilot turned around and left, the 2 Sierra Club trip leaders, a 61-year-old man named Rich Gross and a 60-year-old woman named Marta Chase, told the group to pick up their things and follow them. And so Rich and Marta led the hikers about 500 feet away from where they had just been dropped off, up to this slightly elevated, mostly flat area that kind of overlooked the fjord and had this incredible view of all the mountains around them. Now, unlike the temporary base camp they had been at for the past couple of days, this camp was nowhere near any forests. They were basically on a wide open plain that kind of went right up into these mountains. So it's very wide open where they're staying. And so after Rich and Marta instructed the group where to set up their tents, Matt and the others got to doing that, and then after they were all set up, Rich and Marta put a small electric fence around the perimeter of their tents to keep any nosy animals out, and then the group headed up a little.
Hey, if you're gonna be like camping in some like hostile areas or some like crazy areas, like really get you one of those like electric fences. They do work for the most part. They do work on most animals. It's crazy.
Bit higher on this mountain near them to take their first group photo. And in this photo, they all look so happy and so excited for what's to come. And over
Shit. So Matt dude, that's him. The lawyer that doesn't really make any money, but can afford a $6,000 trip just like at a whim. I mean, he doesn't have kids, though, so
excited for
I
what's
guess.
to come. And over the next couple of days, their trip would go exactly to plan. During the daytime hours, they would hike all of their pre-planned hiking routes all over the mountains and down near the water. And at night, they would eat their food and drink fresh water from the fjord and swap stories from back home. But their perfect trip was about to become a nightmare.
Look how beautiful that is. Real quick, have any of y'all ever seen like the Aurora Borealis or been on like a cruise or anything where you can see that? Been far enough north in Canada? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know.
I've been married to my wife, Amanda, for nearly 12 years.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I just love her so much. She's so thoughtful, so...
He does like these crazy ads, and they're hilarious. They are hilarious. We would watch it, but I don't really want to. I don't want to watch for an ad. It's for NordVPN.
In the early evening hours of Tuesday, July 23rd, so 2 days after the group arrived in the Torngot Mountains, Matt and the others returned from one of their hikes. Now, the day had been cold and rainy, but the group was in good spirits. This was their last day at this particular camping spot. The next morning, they were going to pack up and head farther inland to their next camping spot. After Matt and the others had put their gear back inside of their tents, they came back out to see that Rich and Marta, the 2 trip leads, had organized a special feast for the group to celebrate the successful beginning of their trip. And so the group all sat around eating salami and crackers and drinking rum mixed with lemonade as they talked excitedly about the next couple of days and what they could expect. At some point during the festivities, Matt was tired, and so he broke away from the group. He climbed back inside of his tent, got inside of his sleeping bag, and before...
Look at that, though. Look at that, dude. You really are like out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, not even a tree. Not even a tree. Oh, that'd be eerie. That'd be weird. No vegetation. Just rock and water. Wow.
Before long, he was fast asleep. A few hours later, around 3:30 in the morning, Matt suddenly woke up. He had no idea what had woken him up, and so for a second, he just lay there listening to the outside world and just kind of staring straight up. Now, the moon was out that night, so there was some illumination, and as he looked straight up at the underside of his tent, he sees this huge figure move across the side of his tent and then stop right on top of him. And then before Matt's brain could process what was happening, this huge figure began pressing down on the fabric of Matt's tent. And so he's seeing his tent collapsing in on him. Matt's not doing anything. He's not saying anything. He's just watching in horror. And then suddenly the tent rips open and these two arms reach into the tent and they grab at Matt. And Matt threw his hands up in defense and screamed out for help. And as he did that, he suddenly felt this vice-like grip on the top of his head, and then before long he was being pulled out of the hole in his tent out into the night. And as Matt is being dragged along on the ground, having no idea what's going on, he can't move. All he can hear is this crunching sound, which he would later find out was the sound of his skull and jaw breaking. And he started to smell this horrible rotten fish smell, and then he felt what felt like saliva coming over his face. And then Matt began kind of trying to look around because he couldn't really move his head, and he noticed all he could see was white fur. And it was then that Matt realized he was in the jaws of one of the world's most powerful and deadliest predators. Standing 10 feet tall on its hind legs and weighing as much as 1,700 pounds, the North American polar bear sits right on top of the Arctic.
That is just like white death. Fuck that. We have a saying with bears in my household. If it is black, attack. If it is brown, get down. And if it is white, just go to the light. Because that is your only option when dealing with a polar bear. And what that means is basically like a black bear, they're really skittish and they see like humans kind of like as like a threat. Like we have black bears in Michigan and northern Michigan, and they see humans as kind of like a threat. So as long as you make yourself big or have like a big stick, you can most of the time like scare away a black bear. Unless it's a mama with her cubs, then you might be in trouble. But it's still not that bad of a situation. They like a black bear can fuck you up and they can get really big, but they're not very big for the most part, and you can handle yourself pretty good with them. Just don't ever try and climb a tree to get away from one. They climb faster than monkeys. I promise you. Grizzly bear, brown bear. Your best bet is to just get down and get in the fetal position. Like, all that, like, oh, play dead and they'll leave you alone. Like, no, that bear knows if you're alive or not. So, just get down and get in the fetal position and try to, like, protect your major organs. And try to have, like especially, like, if you're going to run into a brown bear or a grizzly bear, I would hope it's, like, out in, like, the woods and you went, like, hiking. And that's why it happened. And if that's the case, always try to make sure that you have like a big backpack that like the bear can attack. You know, get it satisfaction. Get itself some satisfying like swipes and kills and bites and everything like that. But a polar bear, nope. Polar bears, they are the apex predator of the Arctic. They kill fucking everything. They go in the water. Like these things have been seen offshore for like hundreds of miles. It's nuts, dude. So these things are like not to be fucked with. If they even like realize like you're around them, they'll more than likely go and kill you. So it's just best to just, polar bear, stay the fuck away from it.
Food chain. And now this apex predator was dragging Matt by the skull down to the beach where Matt knew he would be eaten, even if Matt was still alive when the eating began. When the bear...
Yeah, because that's another thing. Sorry. That's another thing about bears. Is they won't kill you and then eat you. They'll just eat you while you're alive. They're psychos.
first ripped open Matt's tent and bit down on the top of his skull, Matt let out that scream, and it actually woke up the entire camp. And one of the first people to emerge from their tents to see what was going on was one of the trip leaders, Marta. And so she jumps out of her tent, and just 3 feet away from her, she sees this huge polar bear on its hind legs diving into the tent to get after Matt. And so Marta instinctively yells out to Rich to get his flare gun, and she dove back into her tent to retrieve her own flare gun. But by the time she and Rich had both emerged, gun in hand, this polar bear had already dragged Matt 200 feet away from the camp. And by this point, the other hikers in the group had also emerged from their tents, and after realizing what was going on, they just stood there, absolutely paralyzed with shock, staring at this bear dragging one of their companions down to the beach to be killed. Then, after Rich fired his flare gun generally in the direction of the bear, it kind of snapped the group out of their paralysis, and then moments later, they were all screaming and banging pots and pans to try to terrify the bear into releasing Matt from its jaws. Matt couldn't hear the sounds of his companions calling out to try to save him, nor did Matt feel any pain. He was in shock. The only thing going through Matt's head as he was being dragged along the ground to the beach was, I'm going to die. I'm either going to die on the way to the beach, or when I get there, then when the bear starts eating me, I'm going to die. And when he thought about this, it was with a kind of eerie, calm detachment. Like he wasn't sad or mad. It was just kind of a fact. This was going to happen. But as Matt was kind of making peace with his reality, Rich fired that flare gun shot, and that ball of chemical fire exploded basically right in front of the polar bear's face. And the polar bear, who was startled by the flare, instinctively whipped its head to the side, up, and then down again, and it didn't let go of Matt. And so Matt was whipped like a rag doll up, and then was slammed down into the ground. And when Matt hit the ground, he heard the sound of his neck breaking. But as Matt was laying there, the bear released him from its jaws, and then behind Matt, the bear turned around and began walking away. And so Matt could hear the sound of its big paws moving away from him, and suddenly Matt's thinking, oh my God, I might survive this. And so he tried to lay as still as he possibly could so as not to attract any attention, and he began repeating in his head over and over and over again, please bear, go away, please bear, go away. But as if out of a horror movie, as Matt is laying there repeating this phrase, he hears the sound of this bear stopping, turning around, and start moving back towards him. And so Matt's just thinking, okay, it's going to come back over here, it's going to bite my head, and that's the end. But luckily, Rich, by this point, one of the trip leads, had run down closer to the beach, reloaded his flare gun, and right as this bear was going to bite Matt again, Rich had fired that flare, and once again, the chemical fire had kind of exploded right near the bear, causing it to get startled. It turned around, it ran off, and this time the bear did not return. It would turn out Rich and Marta, the two trip leaders from the Sierra Club, had chosen a location for this campsite that was so heavily trafficked by polar bears, it was referred to as a polar bear highway. When all of the hikers, which included Marta and Rich, had been given their safety brief when they were staying in those plywood structures at that base camp near the runway, well, part of the brief was whenever you make camp in the Torngots, you want to be at least a quarter mile away from water. Go way inland because the polar bear...
Bro, for $6,000, you take me to like Silence of the Lambs 5 building to have a fucking powwow, and then you literally take me to an area to camp that's called Polar Bear Highway. I wouldn't even sue you, bro. At that point, I'm not suing you. I'm just gonna beat the fuck out of you, and then I'm gonna kill you, and then I'm gonna go feed you to that polar bear that tried to eat me.
Bears hunt and fish and walk around right along the edge of these fjords. But despite all 7 members of this Sierra Club expedition being experienced wilderness backpackers, none of them really appreciated just how dangerous it was to be camping or even hiking around in known polar bear territory. And so this is why they ultimately ignored the safety brief and set up their first camp just a couple hundred feet away from the water's edge. And even prior to the attack on Matt, when the group literally saw polar bears wandering around near their camp and even at one point had to fire their flare guns at the polar bears to get them to leave, the group still decided it was best to stay at this particular campsite. Perhaps they believed their electric fence they had set up around the perimeter of their tents would protect them from...
Like I said, those electric fences are great and they keep out most animals and will keep you safe. But a 10-foot tall fucking polar bear? No. Nope.
From these polar bears. But obviously, that had not been the case. The bear that attacked Matt had been totally unaffected by their fence. Matt would survive this attack, but really only because one of the members of the expedition happened to be a medical doctor, and so they were able to stabilize Matt until help arrived. Matt's injuries were extensive. They included a broken skull, a broken jaw. He had slash marks and puncture wounds all over his head and his neck, and all of those wounds got horribly infected. And also his voice was permanently changed as well because the bear also slashed his vocal cords. Following the attack on Matt, Parks Canada, which is the agency that oversees all of Canada's national parks, including Torngots, has mandated that any organization going into Torngots National Park has to have a polar bear protection plan in place. As for Matt, he does not make a big deal about his near-death experience. In fact, he kind of makes light of it and sometimes even makes jokes about it. As for the polar bear that attacked him, Matt holds no ill will. If anything, the attack has made him more interested and appreciative of the apex predator. In August of 2014, so 11 months after Matt's brush with death, he returned to the Torngots and even visited the actual site of the attack, perhaps to get closure. Except this time, he was in the company of an armed polar bear expert.
So, like, if he was a lawyer that didn't make that much money, how did he go to a place that cost $6,000 a trip twice in 1 year? Huh. But still, good for him that he went back, though. And he, like, kind of, like, conquered that demon. You know? Like, that was probably, like, those, like, stories that you hear, the people that get attacked by sharks or shit, even, like, alligators and shit. And they'll go back and, like, visit them in, like, a sanctuary and stuff and kind of, like, get, like, that closure with, like, that beast. But still, that's super, super scuffed. Have your whole head clamped down on by a polar bear and then just like drug away? Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm good. And the guides, putting them in, like literally the nickname of the place is Polar Bear Highway. You're a fucking idiot.
So that's
beat your ass.
If you got something out of today's episode and you haven't
video. That was the end of the video. Was a good one. I love MrBallen videos, man. They're so good. Like I said, hopefully, I hope that y'all enjoyed the video as well. And y'all go out, give him like a little follow, sub, like the videos, all that stuff. He's a, like I said, he's an ex-Navy SEAL. Fucking, I mean, fuck, man. He's an American hero. No? Let's give him the American dream and help him out. Help him out. But man, I'll tell you, I could not. Nope. To survive a polar bear attack? Bro. A polar bear attack? Oh my gosh. Get to the chat real quick before we get back into the news. Oh. Excuse me. Brought you back in the building. Still school. Wow. Yeah, and we can add polar bears to the list of irrational fears. But school, man, literally will catch on fire. And these guys, nope. You kids got to learn because we care about your learning. Okay. So that's what we're doing today. We're lying. We're lying to each other today. Sweet. I love it. Yeah, that sucks, man. You gotta push that agenda, push the corporate shtick. I pray though that everybody's okay, everything's fine, nobody's really shaken up by it or anything like that. Which, I mean, as long as no one's directly involved, you should be all right. Got to kind of roll with the punches, but still, it is kids, man. That is a traumatic experience. Go and shut this shit down, get it cleaned up. Try again tomorrow. It's just a scuffed Monday, bro. Just a scuffed Monday. Sesame Street actor Bob McGrath died. That sucks. A lot of celebrities are dying here lately. You know? I wonder what that's like a result of. Like, is there like something different that we introduced to the human population in the last couple years that like could have potentially harmful side effects because we didn't take the 10 years to study it? And, you know, now people are getting sick and dying for no reason on this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, you know, connecting dots that aren't there. So let's get into the news. North Korea fires artillery rounds into quote unquote buffer zones near the sea border. Oh, all right. Let me pull this up. Fuck is what is Kim doing? Jong-un? The fuck? Jong-un. The fuck, dude. North Korea, man. He is a little shitid. North Korea fired around 130 artillery shells into the sea off its east and west coasts on Monday. The South Korean military said in Pyongyang's latest provocation near the inter-Korean maritime boundary. That's scuffed, dude. Like 130 artillery shells? What the fuck? Seoul Joint Chiefs to staff said it detected the artillery rounds starting at 2:59 p.m. from multiple rocket launchers in Kumgang County in Kangwon Province in Jangsan Cape in South. Oh my God, they're just really trying me to do. I can't even do that one. Province. The shells landed within maritime buffer zones north of the northern limit line, the de facto sea border, the JCS said. While the North does not recognize the NLL, which was never formally established after the 1950 to 53 Korean War, both countries agreed on the buffer zones under a military accord signed on September 19, 2018 to reduce border tensions. Wow. This was 6 hours ago, brought to you by UPI News. Get the news. Oopie. Get the news with Oopie. Oopie. So that's fucked. North Korea. And what's up with him like bringing his daughter around all the time now? Is that like really his daughter, or is like, did he like create her, or just like hire someone to be like, yeah, you're my kid. If you say anything different, I'll kill you. That's probably more like it. Greta Thunberg drives this car at the age of 19. Dude. She had better be driving the most luxury fucking electric car ever. It's a stupid ass list of like people that are like driving their shit. Like Julia Roberts drives a Prius. Like, at least she's trying, you know? I mean, she was pretty woman. She can fucking probably afford more than we realize. What the fuck, George Clooney? Dude, I cannot with these lists. I just want to know Greta Thunberg. Greta. Like, what's up with like everybody? Like, whenever it comes to like pollution and shit like that, like these like Greta Thunberg like thumpers. Like whenever they're sitting there being like, we need to stop with the emission. Okay, yeah, like that's fine, bro. Like that's fine. Like, yeah, we all need to do like what we need to do to save the planet. We need to clean the air. We need to clean the ocean. We need to not cut down forests, but we do need to deforest some, get like the dead trees out of there, you know, take them out, mulch them up, throw that shit back in there, let it grow, you know, just beef it up, man. Beef it up. But this, no, because China is the number one polluter. In fact, if you put in the top 5 polluters in the world, China's number 1, America is number 2. But all 4, the remaining 4 of the top 5, if you add together how much pollution they give to the carbon footprint, it still doesn't add up to what China's doing. Just saying. Just saying. You know, still doing that thinking while it's free, looking up facts while they're free, which you can do too with the internet right in front of you. Okay, this is like taking like ridiculously long. Paris Hilton has been on this list twice now, and I still have no Greta Thunberg. Bullshit. Bullshit. But I will tell you this, I am going through all this. Tell all these celebrities to suck your left nut while tickling the right one. Next time they want to talk about carbon emissions, everything like that. We need to save the planet, bro. Each one of them are driving cars that are just super high-end sports cars. Yeah, and I'm sure like they built your car, bro, with fucking wind and farts. And it's powered by love. I love you, dude. Power on, man. Like, get realistic, bro. I'm all about peace and unity and making the best. But grow the fuck up. Oh, shit. Elon Musk. Again. Elon Musk asks if Snowden, Assange, should be pardoned. 80% of Twitter followers say... What'd they say? Let's see. Doesn't say. Okay, here we go. 80% voted in favor of pardon for both Snowden and Assange. Wow. That's dope. That's actually pretty dope. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think that they should. You know, what did Snowden do besides give information out? What did Assange do besides give information out? I don't know, man. Crazy. But yeah, there's nothing really going on today. A little bit going on with Korea. Apparently Putin fell down the steps over the weekend and shit his pants. So that's cool. Other than that, nothing really going on. Nothing in the old mitten that happened this weekend. My wife and I did get the rest of our house done. As you can tell, the stream has changed. We're in a new area for the casting room. We're going to be doing some upgrading after the holidays and everything, like I was saying yesterday. Getting Kim a better mic than she has now. Getting probably updating the cameras and then updating the hardware as well. It's going to be great. And like I said, I love the growth. I love all the feedback, all the interaction, all the likes. It's just amazing. And I can't thank you guys enough. I'm just a jabroni talking bullshit, watching a MrBallen video, and y'all make it happen, Captain. I love you guys. Y'all the best. And That's everybody, whether you're watching live, whether you come back and watch a video after it's posted, man, whenever you get that time in, I'm just very thankful that you get it in, and I love you very much. Thank you. We don't have really a whole lot else going on today. It's not a whole lot. I really I'm actually kind of glad. Thank you, God. Thanks, Dad. I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't get to the MrBallen reaction video last night, because if you haven't watched the cast from last night, Kim and I gave a true personal paranormal activity story. It's what we dealt with. It's our own account. You can believe it if you want. I urge everybody to be skeptical on everything. So yes, be skeptical with my stories, but I do promise you that I am telling you the truth. And a lot of people were involved with it that could, if you really wanted to just do your sleuth work and fact check me, you could check with them and they'd be like, yeah, that's what happened. So if you haven't watched that, go check that out. That's pretty cool. But I'm pretty glad that that took too long, because that was actually a pretty long cast. I'm glad that took a while, and we didn't get to react to the MrBallen video last night, and it gave me something to react to today. So that's great. Again, thank y'all for coming out. I love you guys so much. We do not have anything else really going on, so we're probably just going to wrap up the show like super quick. Let's get into the chat. Polar bears, yes, they are an irrational fear now. Yes, I am. Excuse me. I am deathly afraid of polar bears. I don't even like going and looking at them. Whenever whenever we're at the zoo, I don't like them, dude. They freak me out. Like, I love bears too, because I'm native, half native. And my clan is the Bear Clan. Like, my dad's name in our Native American language is Kadesawa, which is black bear. And it's super dope. So I love bears. Like, I love black bears and I love grizzly bears. But a polar bear, yeah, they're pretty and they're cool to look at, but fuck that, dude. I don't even want to like interact with them. They're just such like a hostile creature. And they're so like full like fuck shit. So it's just fucked. It's just fucked if you get around one. You're like super dead. They will charge you and they won't stop. Dude, there's a video on YouTube. Y'all go check that out. Guy gets in like this like cage thing with like a polar bear around, and that thing is not stopping. It just wants to get in there. It's crazy. Oh, the fire. It wasn't a bad fire. I'm not sure where it was. We were outside for like 10 minutes, and they were like, all right, get your asses back inside. Hell yeah, they were. You better get your ass back in here, boys. Boys and girls, get your asses in here, man. We need asses in seats, or I can't get that grant money next year. Daddy needs to go on vacation again. It really does work like that, guys. It really does. And if you think it's anything else, then you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. But that's going to do it, guys. Thank y'all again. Crazy polar bear story, man. If you're in like, if you're literally camping somewhere that is considered polar bear highway, I would strongly recommend that you don't. You know what? Like we said, we don't make judgment. We don't tell people what to do. It's free world. But I'm just gonna say it's probably not good for your health. Probably not good for the longevity of your life to go sleep on polar bear highway with nothing around for hundreds of miles. That's probably a bad idea. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thank y'all so much for coming out. We got the show tonight with Kim. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be great. We always have a great evening cast. Make sure that you tune in, turn on the bell or the notification so you know whenever we go live. We will be live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I hope to see everybody there because we're always having fun. We're always having a good time. And until I see you, just do me one favor. Just one favor. Just real quick. Stay sexy. Stay sexy, please. I love you.